Time for the 49ers Rush Podcast.
To number 72, sticking with the defensive line, we've got undrafted free agent Spencer Waege. I've heard it pronounced Waege. I've heard it pronounced Waege. The amount of time that I've looked through pronunciation guides to not figure out the correct answer, I apologize. But this kid's fun. Superman, that's what we're going to call him. That's his nickname. Comes out as an undrafted free agent from where? North Dakota State. Was teammates with Trey Lance. We'll get into some of that. The show's producer today is Josh, the 49ers guru. He has crushed it once again. And it's funny because Superman was on the back end of the draft. Possible 6th, 7th round undrafted free agent. He says, quote, I got an undrafted free agent deal done with the Niners during the 7th round of the draft. I knew where I was going before the draft was actually over. And then told friends and family they were all really excited for me, end quote. This is a peek behind the curtain of the way it works. You've got your draft picks and all those things. The Niners had several 7th round picks, but they were negotiating with Superman himself during that process. Now, we've got him 72. He's an interesting guy. He wound up with jersey number 69 for the 49ers. Nice. Now that McGlinchey's gone, that is available. But he played 99 his entire career. And if just a little bit of time going through his Twitter and Instagram, just trying to figure out kind of what his interests are, J.J. Watt is everywhere. So very easy to see, being from the upper Midwest and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, the way he plays, it kind of fits. It fits. He's 6'5", 280, 32-inch arms, 24 years old. He is actually older than Trey Lance, which is hilarious because he's got this quote. He said, quote, it's kind of weird for me because Trey, obviously, when he came to Fargo, he was a rookie, and I was one of the old guys. Superman was there for 6 years. He had his redshirt year. He had his COVID exemption year. Then the 4 years that he played. One of those he was injured, but he was there for 6 years. So he was at North Dakota State before Trey, and there after 3 years when Trey was gone. Pick it back up with this. He says, quote, he was one of the rookies. I was one of the old guys that I could tell to do and make him go get things or whatever. Now it's kind of funny how the roles have kind of reversed. Where I'm going to be a rookie, and I'm sure he's going to get a little payback for some of those days up in Fargo, end quote. That is awesome. And just, not only the perspective that provides for Superman Spencer here, but also Trey Lance. And just how quickly and how young and inexperienced Lance is. It's just different. Now, he ran a 4.91 40-yard dash, which is good for an interior guy. Now, Spencer played almost exclusively on the edge, defensive left side. That's basically all that he played. The Niners have been working him out inside. So this is a project move. He's a good edge player, but he doesn't have the speed/bend that they want at that edge spot. So they're going to try to beef him up a little bit more. Again, 6'5", 280. So if you could add a good 10 to 15 pounds to him, teach him to anchor, which he was never really asked to do at North Dakota State. It's a project. That's what it is. Now, going back with some more measurables, 1.66 in the 10-yard, not great. 7.19 in the 3-cone, pretty good. Pretty damn good for a big dude like that. 32-inch vertical, 23 reps on the bench press. He's a big cat. He's from South Dakota, grew up in Watertown, the Fighting Arrows. I love that mascot. And he graduated general agriculture, which that's kind of the life that this kid, he was born on a cattle farm, raised. I read this really cool story where his dad would tell him and his brothers to go catch goats for exercise. Like he would literally put them in a pen and say, all right, who can catch the goat first? Things like that. They kind of laughed about it, but that's, Spitzer joked like, yeah, I kind of got some of my agility from that and, tracking down these animals. And the funny thing, he was a small kid. Dad didn't play football, went from a football family, and he always wanted to be a kicker. That was like his thing as a kid. He would walk around and just practice kicking field goals and, kicking the ball and hitting different things. That's what he wanted to do. But then he hit several growth spurts, one in high school. Then he hit another growth spurt his kind of junior year in college. And he realized like, okay, now my weight's up there. Kicker's probably not going to be the way that I make this football thing work. He was a 2-star recruit. and ended up going to North Dakota State over SDSU. You know, the rivalry there, especially coming from South Dakota. That must have been a very difficult transition. As I said, his nickname is Superman. I just want to read through some of his accolades because he's got a lot. Senior captain in high school. Check that off the box. Niners love that stuff. You know, his final season with North Dakota State, he had 9 sacks, 17 and a half tackles for loss, helped them to the national championship game where they lost to his hometown team, South Dakota State. Cousins with Tyson and Taylor Zemlika, who are linebackers at Northern State University. He was on the honor roll not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times. So the captain check mark, the grades check mark, he's got those. 2-time FCS All-American, 2022 Commissioner's Academic Excellence Award. He was the 2018 All-Newcomer Team for the Mountain Valley Football Conference. 2019 Honorable Mention. And it just goes on and on. He was the FCS Freshman All-America Team. He's got all these different words. The Hero Sports FCS All-American. Athlon Sports FCS All-American. Phil Steele FCS All-American. On and on and on and on and on. He played at the Hula Bowl, which is very, very important for the Niners. They love to see these players get time, you know, playing in these games against other players that are going to be NFL quality. And, you know, he said whenever he talked about the 49ers, he said, quote, "The 49ers by far were the team that showed the most interest in me before Pro Day. During and after my Pro Day. I had Zooms with their assistant D-line coach. They had by far shown the most interest, and that's part of the reason why me and my agent wanted to do the deal with them," end quote. So this was something, and there's ties. Right? You've got Trey Lance. Obviously, that's a huge connection. I'm sure they know each other very well. But that's not the only 49ers connection. This is weird, especially coming from Watertown, South Dakota is tiny, tiny, tiny. I mean, it's super small. But there's another guy on the 49ers organization, Dustin Little, who is the head athletic trainer for the 49ers now for 4 years. They know each other well. So Superman says, quote, "It's funny because Dustin, the head athletic trainer for the 49ers, his sister was actually just in my brother's wedding a couple weeks ago. Dustin and I had cousins that grew up in Castlewood, and we've known them forever too. So it's got a lot of connections there," end quote. So, like, it's easy to understand why he was on their radar, the inside tracks. You know, you've got multiple checklists of knowing this guy. 6 years. He played a lot. This dude played in 57 career games for the Bison, who are a great, great program. He finished with 138 tackles, 42 tackles for loss. He plays behind the line of scrimmage. Now, it's an edge. He played as an edge the entire time, but he's aggressive, very aggressive. 20 and a half career sacks, 4 pass breakups, 5 forced fumbles, 1 fumble recovery, 2 block kicks. And if you go back to his high school stats, when I was looking that up, I found 5 block kicks in high school. He's a big dude. He's a big dude. Think J.J. Watt, right? He's a J.J. Watt super light. That's just what he is. Now, I did a tape breakdown, and for Patreon members, if you want to go watch this, just type in Spencer Waege in the search field on our Patreon page, and it'll pull up. I did a whole breakdown on him. Here are my notes from watching Superman play. Fun player that gets after it on the edge. Now, again, remember, Niners are putting him at defensive tackle, so he's got to bulk up. This is a 1 to 2 year project. Very streaky, could take over possessions all by himself. Negative of that is he's either hot or he's cold. He disappears for some drives, and then other drives you're like, gosh, this is the best player on the field. Very demonstrative. He talks trash nonstop. He loves to hit everybody. If he's running by a lineman, he's shoving them. It's just what it is. Good hands and bend for an interior guy. No clue how he's going to fend off double teams on the inside. One of the biggest issues with 49ers defensive line play, we don't stack the box. So a lot of other teams will do, an 8-man box. Niners almost rarely ever do that. We do 4 D linemen and 2 or 3 linebackers. That's it. So the defensive tackles, that's why it's such a big deal for the Niners to play defensive tackle. You face more double teams, the duo in the run, because they don't have to account for 8 guys. We just got 6 or 7. So that's one of the things, like if my biggest question mark, if I could answer, Can Superman stop double teams in the run game? If the answer is yes, this dude's going to be around for a while. If he cannot adapt to that, because never had to do it in college, he's going to be on his way out. Again, going to need to gain a lot of weight and strength. 2-year project player. That's just what it is. And so it's hard to see outside of that. Now, the Niners like him. He got $50,000 bonus guaranteed money, which was 5th on the undrafted free agent list. So it kind of puts him on the scale of undrafted free agents where his priority was. Now, look at that depth chart at the defensive tackle spot. It's the best in the NFL. Hargrave, Armstead, Kinlaw, Kevin Givens. Those 4 are locks. Kevin Givens started week 1 for us last year. Now he's our number 4. Maybe our number 3. Might be ahead of Kinlaw. He's pretty damn good. Now, then you've got guys Kalia Davis, T.Y. McGill, Marlon Davidson, Kerry Hyder, Alex Barrett. I'm not sure where Spencer fits in. My assessment is I think that he is the Alex Barrett kind of replacement long-term. We'll see how soon that can happen, though. But Spencer Waege, Superman, I don't care how you say his name. He's incredible, fun watch. Go check him out on Patreon. And for us, we'll just keep counting him down.